Supernote gives you a lot of ways to be able to engage. Let's go ahead and get out of here. So one thing that I started doing, and I did a video on this as well, which I'll put in the description, is I started playing around to see just how many things you can do with one particular piece of text. And this is why it's important to me. So let's say that this is a test meeting note. And then I have action item 1 and action item 2. We'll only do 2 for now. So I have these 2 action items. I've taken this note, I've taken this meeting. Not only if I created this note today would it show up in my calendar and would be there on the date it was created, but now if I want to take it a step further, I can lasso action item 1. Go to the calendar icon, go to a to-do. Action item 1 came right in, and I can go ahead and select my date and say I want to have this one due today. Then I hit add. Now what it's going to do is it's going to jump me back to that same note. Now I'm back in that same note. I can go ahead and do action item 2. Again, to do. Action item 2. Say we'll have this one due tomorrow. So we're going to do that on the 3rd. Hit confirm. And now we've added that to do. So what I've done there and what I think is important is, I can do that in the moment. So if there's a lull, it's in a meeting and I'm taking all of these notes and I'm doing all of these things, I can go ahead and go right back really quickly, circle those 2 things, add them to do, and now they are shoved into my to-do list. Or after the meeting is completely done and I go back to my office and I have a little bit of free time, I can go through the meeting that I left, circle to-do items that need to be done over the next few days, and seamlessly add them over to the to-do list. And accessing it becomes very, very easy. You just go straight into that to-do list, and you'll notice that I have an inbox now because they're not automatically sorted unless you create them in a folder. And you can create them in a folder. I tend not to do that as much because I like having this little reference piece over here to the notebook that they're in. So for me, now I can go straight back to that note that was in. And the cool part is if I go now back here, instead of going back to the folder that the note is in, it takes me directly back to the to-do list. So if these to-dos are all in multiple different notes, I can go ahead and tick one of them off at a time. And each time that I tick that off, it's going to pop me back to the to-do list. And then I can go directly to that next notebook without having to find it again, without having to run a search, without having to do anything. I just go directly from this link, and it remembers not only the note, but the page. And even let's say I did both of these tasks, you'll see they moved to completed. And let's say I also do a hold down here. I want to move these to social. So now when I go to social, you'll see all of these different to-dos. The nice part about it is all of these links are still active. Pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. Even though the to-do is completed, and now I'll go back, takes me back to my completed to-dos. That's a huge functionality shift. It allows me to focus on what I need to focus on in the moment, create and capture that information and send it back, and then also be able to revisit tasks or items or notes that pertain to a specific topic straight from the to-do list, almost like a semi-home screen. And I've done videos on using this or the calendar for that purpose. Let's say that I'm going to create a new note because right now it says I have no notes. anything I create today will show up in this block here. We can also create. So let's go ahead and, for now, just create a new random note. But right now, so we've gone ahead and we've created this note. And when we go back, you'll see now there's one new note here. And what's cool about this is I tend to, and I've mentioned this in another video, create my meetings in here because this does sync with Google Calendar. So I'll have my meetings populated over here on this right-hand side, and then I'll have a new note that I create that morning before my day starts for each meeting. So they're dispersed. They're not in one file. They're in multiple files, but they exist in one place. And that's very important to me. But the flexibility of this note, so you pop up, it tells you you've got your note, you go to it. So now I've created three things, and I didn't put my header. I always do headers as well, so that when I combine things later, they're very easy to see in one big large notebook in a table of contents. But for now, I'm just showing these specific things. And what's really neat about this, and I've shown this once before too, is as I select this task, I can do a meeting or a to-do. I can also do both of those things. I can also do this as a keyword and as a headline or as a header. I can do all of those functions. The only thing you can't do right now with selecting the same piece of text multiple times is a link. And I really hope they get that functionality soon. I think that would be a game changer in the industry. Nobody else does it that way. I think you combine all of those things and you'll have something truly amazing. So anyway, so this is our task. So we will say, new task. We'll have it due today. And then I will hit add. Now again, it's going to take me directly back to where I was. So now we're going to make this one a new event. And we'll go ahead and we'll make a new event. Go to the calendar, go to this calendar. It's going to recognize that text. There's your new event. I can say this is going to be an all day event. And let's go ahead and do it for Monday. So I'll put it on Monday and we'll hit confirm. You do have to do it in both places. So just be aware of that. And then we will go to a new note. Now this one's kind of cool. So let's say we want to create a new note. How do we do that from here without going to the note first and doing all this other stuff? Well, what you can do is you can hit link and then you can say other files. So you have all of these different things. You can do another page in this file. You can do recent files. You can do other files, or you can do web pages. So let's say we want to change the style here. We want to do other files. And then up here, you can create a new, Up here, you can create a new folder, or you can go ahead and create a new note. Now, if I go to that note, you'll see I have a potential task list, which I could customize however I want. And then if I hit this back arrow, it's going to take me back to the note. But now what you'll notice if you look here is there are now two notes. So if I pull this up again, you'll see there is my new test note, and there is my example task list. All of those things are right there. Now, one thing they don't have is the integration with the to-do. I wish and I hope that that's coming soon, but again, it's a simple pull-down swipe, and then you go to to-do, and you'll see now that, again, I have something in my inbox, and there's my test task 1, there's my notebook, and now I'm back and we are full circle. And what you could do, and again, this is why this is so flexible, is within the same notebook, you could have your tasks here, you could have a front page, you could have a couple of different pieces of notes You can basically self create your own planner, and it's a little bit more flexible in some ways, at least to me, than what you're getting in the pre created planners. Again, not for everybody, but do want to tell you that for me, this is an optimal workflow. So now let's see how we interact with that with Google. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you that here. I've shown it before, but what I don't want to do is end up using my work account and having something show. Instead, what I'm going to do is we're going to flip over to the Google Calendar, and I'm going to show you on my Organizing for Change account what how I would think about tasks a little bit differently there and then bring them into this workflow.